Hey there guys, I'm Lee Williamson, and today I'm just going to cover a little bit how to rig in Cinema 4D using UserData, Add to Hub, and a little bit of Xpresso. Now before you run a mile for an Xpresso, like I did, every single time someone says Xpresso, usually I tend to just turn the tutorial off, but just bear with me. This will make your workflow so much better. And believe me, I just absolutely hate clutter in my layer setup. So this will help you animate so much faster if you just know these basics. So without further ado, let's dig in. Right, so I have this little seagull, and I've got a couple of deformers on there where you can twist the angle, make his head bend with the deformer, and with the bull I've made an eye blink, so when you scale the Y on the cube, the eyes blink. And I just really wanted to show you a cool way just to rig this a little bit better. I'm sure if you've got tons of characters like this with all these messy assets inside, you'd like to just have it neater. So the first thing I wanted to show you was you can right click on any of the parameters in your objects. So for example, angle, and I can right click and I can go add to HUD, and what it's done is it's dropped it over there. If I hold down Command or Control and drag, I could drag it to the top corner, and there I can right click it and say always, and now no matter what, when I move around, click off it, it's always going to stay there. And there's a little radio button over there where you can record and do all your twists and you name it. And then I can go to bend, and I can do the same thing here with the strength. I can say add to HUD and Control drag and put over there, and right click again and say always. But this can be a little bit messy, so I'm going to show you another neater way to do it. If I just right click this and unclick always, wait, let's just remove and remove that, remove, cool. So the better way to do it is if you click on the seagull, now let's just collapse this, and there's something called UserData. So I'm going to click on UserData and I'm going to say add to UserData. Now I want to add the bending of the head, up and down and left and right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add data 3 times, and I can call this one, let's call it eye blink, and I can call this one twist, and I can call this one bend. Now remember, those are the 3 different parameters that I wanted to edit. So now what happens is a new tab appears under your null object with user data over here. Now the thing you need to know is how do we connect up that information to the bend deformers and the eyes. So what we do is, now please don't be scared, I know I'm always so petrified of Xpresso, but I've been trying to force myself in the deep end. You go to Cinema 4D tags, go down to Xpresso, and it adds an Xpresso tag over there. Please bear with me, it is not as scary as you think. Now you're going to drag in that whole seagull null over there, and you can scale it up. And then you can go to File, and let's see. Now we're going to drag in those individual parts that was so intimidating to you. So we're going to go to our user data, right click, and we're going to add in those other ones. So we're going to take the twist, and we drag in the twist, take the bend, drag in the bend, and take the cube, which is in the ball, and let's just scale them up. Okay. Now, I don't know if you remember with the twist, we were doing degrees. I don't know if you remember, it was the angle, the degrees that we were editing over here. So you're just going to go to twist, click on the blue side of this and choose object properties and choose angle. And on the bend, what was the bend? The bend was the strength. We playing with the strength, so we're going to click again, object properties, strength. And then what was the cube? The cube was the Y value on there. So we can click on here again, object properties, size, Y. See, not very difficult at all. Now the seagull, do you remember I put on user data here? So now user data should appear here. So if I click on the red side, right at the bottom, there is a user data tab. So I'm going to click on bend, user data eye blink, and user data twist. See, now all those on there, and all I have to do, amazing, is connect all these. No coding, nothing. Absolutely easy. Now, when I click back on my my user data, you'll notice these little things have appeared here, which basically says I'm using Xpresso to rig it. Now, one thing you still need to do is under your user data, you go back to manage user data, and each user data has a different field and a different properties. So we need to edit that first of all. So if we go to our eye blink, we're going to turn each one into a float slider. So if I click on each one and say float slider, and say OK. Don't forget to always press OK, otherwise it won't happen. And now all these have turned into sliders. Cool. And if you click back on the seagull, go into manage user data, and we go to our eye blink. Now eye blink, we wanted to edit the percentage. So all we have to do is keep it on %, which is great. And the eye blink is going to be going from 0 to 100%. Cool, that's perfectly fine. And then in our twist, we were editing degrees, so we need to change that from % to degrees. And our bend, we were using % again, which is great. Cool. So, crumbs, I forgot to say OK on there. Let's just see if I actually remember that. %. So twist was degrees. Don't forget to press OK. Cool. So now you notice it's got degrees there and % on both of them. Now I want to limit the way my twist goes. You know, I only wanted to twist 25 degrees that way and 25 degrees that way. So you can do that. If you click back on your manage user data and you go to your twist, I can go, my minimum is -25 and my maximum is 25. And then say OK. Wait, let's go to the bend. And the bend is going to be the same thing. Minimum -25, maximum 25. And press OK. So now, when you look at your sliders, let's see. When he bends his head, it bends that way 25 degrees and that way 25 degrees. Now, for some reason, the twist isn't working. So let's go back to manage user data and go to twist and see what's going on. Twist. I connected this up incorrectly. I noticed I've connected bend to bend and strength to strength. So you can click on these, undo them. And eye blink was supposed to be that, and twist was supposed to be strength. Oh, the wrong way around. So I can just really drag and make that neater. And now it should work. So let's click back on here. Now twist should work, bend should work, and eye blink. Now eye blink is from 0 to 100. So what's going on here? Why is he not blinking? Manage UserData, iBlink. Percent, degree, length of units. Okay, why don't we try with that? Length of units. So it was 17 centimeters, if I remember right, from 0 to 17 centimeters. And say OK. There we go. Cool. So we're using centimeters. And we could probably make that even smaller. We go into our manage UserData and we go to our iBlink. Let's make that min minus 5 centimeters and say OK. And there we go. Cool. And also, just for neatness sake, when we go into our iBlink, we can scale this back to minus 5 centimeters on the default value and say OK. And then the default value makes your slider go in the middle so that all our sliders are nice and neat and they start in the center. Cool. So we've got that all sorted. Now that final thing that we needed to do to make it extra nice and neat is just select them all, hold down your shift, highlight them all, right click and say add to HUD, and then hold down Control or Command, drag it to the top, right click, and let's just lock it and say always. And now the awesome thing is you can animate your character nice and rigged, and you don't have to worry about trying to find where the hell each deformer or twist or size is inside your seagull. And then you notice over here the radio buttons are there once again, so you can just record as you need to do. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.